Hello and welcome everybody to an Easter edition of Minecraft Musings. So, happy Easter for those that celebrate. I'm one of those, but um, I've already been talking on the social medias. And what I tell my kids is I'm a skeptical Christian, meaning I was raised Christian, I was raised reading the Bible and doing all that stuff. And I hate talking about it because it's a very cringe subject. I mean, like, there's so much good stuff in there, but then there's so much nonsense, like ridiculous stuff. And therefore, it's just like, I mean, what's the one meme? Religion is just like so it's great to have one, but it's not polite to just like, like, anyways, that's a really horrible joke. Happy Easter. And actually, it's like Jesus' rebirth day. So, and even right there, it's a pretty ridiculous thing. It's like zombie Jesus dying, and then he stays dead for like 3 days, and then, oh, nope, I'm alive. Just kidding. It's like maybe he was in a coma. I mean, that would be a lot more realistic, but that's why I think like these things need updates because maybe the people back in time like didn't have a good enough way to explain it. And that's why I love Ancient Aliens because without revealing too much, because copyright and all that and blah blah blah. Um, which I haven't found a way to just buy the DVD. I could probably, anyways, it's not a big deal, but I recommend it for everyone who is. See it. Um, a guy who translates the Bible a lot really thinks it's aliens, first of all, and second of all, he gets excited because he's translated it in so many different languages that you know, and I believe it. Like I think that gives a lot more perspective and different angles into something, especially something so important. Like supposedly, and I grew up playing a lot of Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, and they have like the clerics, the holy, and like, oh wait, not even that. I think that's more. Well, anyways, the church has always been involved with like knights in the medieval days, and I really loved learning about that stuff. Like knights just seem so fascinating. Like like they wear armor, they run around, they fight each other. It's like that whole like testosterone fueled, and maybe not even testosterone when you're a little kid. Like, but at the same time, it's like that just kind of like primal urge to at least be able to take someone on in combat. To fight somebody. And I'll tell you now, it's hardly ever as glorious as like I don't know. I had friends that used to do MMA fighting. And I've been in a couple scrapes myself, nothing major, but and I remember way back in the day. All right, this is messed up, but social engineering at its finest. Like one of my original, and that's why I feel like I was somewhat successful at adjusting to white hat life, like thinking in a way, because I've always thought in that way. Like, how does everybody win? I mean, cops, robbers, everyone, because that's like a game we used to play as kids, like cops and robbers. Like if you're not a cop, you're automatically a robber. There's only the binary yes or no choice. Not to muddy up the waters of this discussion, but yeah, I mean, either you were good or evil. There was no gray or in between, which is like that's where everybody's at. But through miscommunications, like say following orders, like if it's a game of telephone through different mediums that take away the human nature, that nonverbal communication, then it's really easy to misproportion certain parts of what you're being told to do, or and it can get out of hand quick. I mean, following like rules are rules, and then they have to have like entire committees and like meetings about how to change rule sets. All right, I think a lot of them are just failing to get to their bed up there. So I wonder how do you make it. I have a workaround. See, we started building another house over yonder, which that's all fine and good, but it's over there. I mean, it's not very useful for these villagers unless they're able to walk across the water. I'm not quite ready to do that. Or maybe there's a way I could do a bridge type thing. But even easier would be to just build another house on this side for the flowers. And pufferfish, why not? We've got money. Actually, you know what we should do? Should we do a llama lounge? Just have like a bunch of llamas. Maybe make like an underground animal. Yeah, I like that. But in order to do that, we would have to dig down. Here, in respect for Easter and like being kind and all that, whether you practice it or not, happy, I think Ramadan's still going on. I mean, happy Ramadan to those that do that. Anyways, wait, I'm at 52. Sorry, I just had to get a measurement. I almost drowned. So I already have. Oh, and it's really glitching like that, like just freezing for a sec. But so I gotta get down to 52. Whoa, already started. Right, you know, put them up high because I come back and make stairways. Yeah. Actually, and it might even do better. Let's see. Basically, we gotta get down to, and 52 is the top. So actually, whoops. Yeah. We'll make an animal passageway under the river. Because, I mean, ultimately I want a way for the boat to go through if I'm traveling by boat. I mean, it's a lot of effort just to do that, but I mean, that's why I thought it was interesting to build all this stuff, build the entire garden like hanging above it, you know, not getting in the way, but still being in the same grid, so the clock will keep running on the crops. So, anyways, I guess back to the whole religion thing. I think everybody should watch the movie Zeitgeist or Zeitgeist. And that's basically about religion, 9/11, and then the banking cartels, like or the banking organizations and conspiracies versus reality versus possibility. And like there's even an addendum after that, and I think you have to pay for it now. But I mean, it's well worth it, like because it does organize a lot of work, like talking about all these different religions, and it flashes a bunch on the screen. And I would like to see that fact checked openly and like in a forum. I think as I say that, I'll bet you there's a bunch of comments on the video on the YouTubes. So now I kind of feel bad for like basically talking what it's about, but it's basically like the idea of recycling ideas. Like it's human nature. Oh, hmm. So this is interesting. This looks like more of like an underground part of it. Also, there's sheep. That's why I wanted to kind of twist. It's like there's sheep right through here. If we were to keep digging, we might hit them. Hmm. And this looks like it goes down pretty deep. Like, yeah, if you look at that. So that's okay. We can make a chunnel. We need glass and yeah, that's totally fine. So glass stairs. In fact, there. Let's block it off. Oh wait, sorry. Animal abuse. There you go. So, I mean, we're already keeping them down here in this dark, like cellar type situation. Alright, anyways, because they're not real, but that's why we're gonna give them a little more of like open free range, and I don't know, we could have them outside and like actually make a barn and such. Yeah. Alright, but anyways, yeah, loose change and zeitgeist. Well, loose change just kind of goes into a lot of the questions, but even as I was talking to someone the other day, like having the engineers design buildings to where they would pancake instead of topple, if they were struck. And plus, these buildings are, you know, so old and like I don't know. I feel a little more confident that it's not like a complete hoax. However, yeah, I don't know. The Pentagon still seems weird because it definitely like the plane just like disappeared and they look, yeah. I think if the videos were released to the public, I think it would smooth all that over. So I mean, either way, I don't know. That's but the religion thing, being Easter, being a holy day for Christians. Of course, I still celebrate because I mean, holidays are holidays here. Like whether you believe in you know an afterlife or a you know a God or, and I think everybody believes in like some kind of thing or person created everything, but it's just kind of hard to fathom I think most people realize there's no direct link like that from the Tucker Putin interview, which, and also another kind of blind spot. It was kind of a little embarrassing. I was talking to someone. I was like, "Yeah, man, look at the technology, the translation technology," and they're like, "No, no, they just use translators." And I was like, "Oh." And I don't know, but it's still important. Like, I mean, even no matter how you feel about either of those people, like, I mean, I'm not too fond of either. You know, I have friends from Ukraine, and like, I'm against any kind of military action, like my own country included. Not that I protest, I was actually going to join up in the military. So, but I'm really glad that things didn't end up working out because I probably would have killed some people that, you know, and I'd have to settle with that. Like, the PTSD that comes with it, the guilt. I mean, and that's why, like, growing up, like, I stopped going to church as soon as I was able to. I think it was like high school. But anyways, not that I didn't believe all of it. It was just like I just found I was really skeptical that it was like that big of an issue to where, like, as long as you were a good person, it felt more like, you know, the idea of hell in general. Like, you know, why would there be such an evil, ugly place except to kind of be a deterrent or scare people into behaving? I was just like, nah, that doesn't even make sense. Like, you know, if they're all powerful and everything, like, unless there's some reasoning to why that would have to be the functionality of it. And again, that's just kind of like such a high level idea that we can only imagine within the bounds of our container, whatever that is. And that's why space travel is so important. You know, and like Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these astrophysicists, Carl Sagan, and um, yeah, why it's so important. And a lot of their skepticism. I mean, I think I even saw Neil do something, a religiously post, or maybe goes to church, or I don't know, because it's not the end of the world if you go. It's just as long as you keep a grain of salt with everything. And unfortunately, that's more implied than understood, I feel like, in a lot of situations. Because the argument I've heard is like, you know, of why religious stuff is so offensive is because of the shortcomings. I mean, specifically like dehumanizing anybody, like women not being on equal footing. I mean, whether intended or unintended, there's just a lot of that. Like, God made man in his image. That is straight from the Bible. And it's like, all right, but what about women? And it's like, well, no, we meant all humans, but then we don't say humans. I don't know. And again, like that Ancient Aliens guy, and he's just one of several people that go on there. And like, he translates Bibles and stuff to different languages. And so, like, trying to come up with the words and the meaning in a different language almost adds, but I mean, if you were to sit there and see them talking and see their nonverbal communication, like their cues, their body language, all of that, it would come across as, you know, where to weigh more importance and where not to weigh more importance. Because at the end of the day, we're still limited by what is able to be represented on text, like on paper. I mean, and yeah, there's some pictures and stuff, but there's pictures of like dragon people and like I don't even know, like some of the weird stuff. And now it's hard to even tell what's authentic and what's not because of AI. Like, oh, it's getting better and better every day, and I don't know. I feel like we do need some read-only servers of human history all saved somewhere. And I've had friends and colleagues talk about things like etching giant lasers and glass discs out in the desert or something like, or some kind of way to have persistent information. But and we got Mount Rushmore, but mountains will crumble over time, and you know, and if like a solar flare wiped out all electricity, phew, I feel like that would kill everybody though, because I mean we all have like, and this might be horribly butchering biology, but electricity. Like I mean, you shoot electricity through a person with the AED defibrillator machine. I don't remember, but I was trained to use one. Not recently, so I mean that doesn't mean. In fact, I actually had that quandary. I was once upon a time trained as a first aid, first response person on the first aid, first response team. So I took basic CPR training and how to deal with basic cuts and contusions and I don't know, just injuries and what to do. And you have to do that like every year to get recertified, or like every other year or something like that. I don't know. And that's another thing in Breaking Bad, which is funny because like he brings up like they don't teach that anymore. Like you know, do CPR, and the dude's like spitting up blood. Like, and again, no spoilers, but spoilers. I apologize. And I'll try to be as anonymous as possible in my stuff so I don't ruin it for anyone. But Wait, we went way left with that. The point with Zeitgeist is it pointed out just like how many religions even had the resurrection story or some version of it. You know, how much human thought is similar. And part of that is also like doing a bunch of travel and visiting other places of the world and realizing, like talking to the local people, they're just like us. I mean, it's all the same. Like, there's really no difference. I mean, except for different challenges that they had to overcome in their culture. Like, if they're close to the coast, do they have to get used to fishing, or are they in the plains where they can do a bunch of hunting or gathering? And yeah, what's the hunting like? In fact, I'm having my son read Nyaniki now, which is a story about Native Americans. The Shoshone Girl That Ran is the full title. And as an American, it's part of my heritage too. Even though I'm white, you know, I speak Spanish, but I'm white as you get, Irish, German, probably mud of all sorts of other things. It's at the point where it doesn't even matter. I mean, it's so diluted that the supreme race, and that's the funny thing, because we do have a lot of like really German people that like speak German, like all of that. I mean, and again, at the same time, to where, yeah, it doesn't matter. But once upon a time, people thought that a race had to be pure. And I love that about Harry Potter, because it basically shows how Nazism was back in the day and how evil it was, but also at the same time how people could be appealed to it, or it could be appealing to people, or people could be duped into doing it, or forced. I mean, and that's a lot of what happened during World War II. And again, this is all goes back to religion, ideology, thoughts, philosophies. Like, if you think that there's really a one God's race, and in Germany, very crafty people. My gosh, I would like to be proud to be called German, but at the same time, like the Nazis and all that is where it went weird. But when I was just there a couple years ago, the towels in their bathrooms, like we're talking about sustainability and like going green here, they don't even have disposable towels in the bathrooms. And we have these like air machines, which has been proven time and time again how it just scatters germs everywhere. And so like people, no matter how clean you get your hands, like all it takes is for one person with like half washed hands, like or didn't use soap, just use water, and then become like a vessel, like a delivery device of massive proportions for germs, throwing it around. I still use it whenever I see them. Anyways. And we're like going gangbusters for all sorts of different alternative energies. I built wind turbine blades for a couple years. Awesome job. And that's where I had the first aid training, the crane operator training, process instructor training. And I use that same method to teach my own kids how to tie their shoes. Um, you know, where you do it a couple of times. And this is like, I don't know, I don't want to get copyright infringement or whatever. I won't do the whole thing, but like there's whole classes taught about it. And it's like, you do it, you show them, then you have them do it, then or I think you like show them 3 times. I don't know. We'll call it 42 times. No, I'm just kidding. Show them a couple times, have them do it, make sure they do it, and then do it again. And that way, like, because people learn in chunks. Like they'll pick up on certain key things but miss other things. I actually saw this video the other day. There was a breakdancing bear in this thing, and apparently it's a pretty popular video for like live coaching and psychology type stuff. I took psychology a few times because I kept failing. I failed that thing like 3 times. I could only repeat delete it so many times, and I kept just not showing up. But then when I went back to college after like flunking out, sorry, because it's important, you know. I mean, like I am where I am, you know, pretty fairly successful now. Going to be, you know, in the future, but like yeah, I had to really struggle a bit there, and like I don't know. Attendance is key, and so don't bite off more than you can chew. I was taking all sorts of random classes, and yeah. Oh, but theology, it's very important because you can't just hide away from it. If you shy away from it, then it's like, you know, a lot of miscommunications, and it takes a lot of effort for me to not see religious posts as just kind of like distasteful. But at the same time, the person posting it is totally sold, spending a lot of time in the church, maybe like, you know, like all happy about it, and that's, you know, that should be fine for them. I guess it's just the idea of just Jesus, like just one person. Like I think they were trying to put a face to the name when it really could just be like, I don't know. I do not know what's up there, really. It could be the Truman Show. There could be some creepy guy in a weird hat. Like, now the guy wore a pretty cool hat, but he had the earpiece with like the mouth, you know, mouthpiece or whatever. Like, it came around because they didn't have like earbuds back in the day. And he was probably even tethered too, or maybe it was like, anyways, technology in my lifetime. and just how crazy it's gone off. And that's why I'm pretty confident about the near future, very confident about the future. But I mean, even in the near future, we're communicating, we're understanding that everybody's saying about the same thing. And I guess that's the main takeaway from Zeitgeist is like we're all saying the same thing. And even though there's yacht people spelling out, we're all in this together, and it's kind of like, ugh. And they might have even donated a ton of money to this or that. I don't know, but and why should it take so insane amounts, so much money just to take care of life? Like, I mean, we have so many of these new tools and advances, and like, I don't know. I feel like it's still just greed, either intentional or unintentional. You know. Anyways, where was I going with that? We were talking about Jesus and I don't know, the biggest hippie in history. Like he wandered around the desert, long hair, like prophesizing, healing, like taking the time to listen to people. And that's probably mostly what it was. Like it probably just seemed like a miracle because nobody really could communicate or talk or like. But that was it. Like I mean, he took a risk. He lived on the streets. Like he was, hobo-ish for a while, and he didn't even start until he was in his 30s. So right there, I mean, the prefrontal cortex not fully developing until your mid to late 20s. And usually, I feel like women are, like on average, faster to do so than men. I mean, I think, and that's a more nurturing aspect of like their biology. Like they grow the life and like they have a lot more in that, and that's what makes up their body and their mind. Not to say, sorry, I keep hearing this like this argument creeping up because you always got to poke holes in everything, like if they're possible, or find the weak points. Women should still be allowed to vote. That's the ridiculous post that I had or I was replied to with was like, if women are married, then they have their husband to speak for them, like as God intended. He said all of that, and I was like, whoa. And it was an older white dude with like a white beard and stuff. Like probably could have been a Santa Claus some years, and for his generation, okay. But I mean, no, this day and age, a person is a person, no matter how small. If Horton is got it in Dr. Seuss, and I taught my kids that, like, a person is a person, no matter how small. And I got some pretty small friends too. One close buddy, who we don't even talk anymore. I think he's still upset. I don't know. But we used to call him some pretty hurtful names, which I didn't realize at the time. But we just laughed because we were usually impaired. But, uh, anyways, don't bully people. Oh, and we needed glass. That's what we were doing. So we need sand. Oh, let's go ahead and drop off some stuff. I did do quite a bit of mining. Oh, and that's what I wanted to show. I'm probably going to get in some Bloodborne today, but I did want to show that. Oops. I collected a lot more diorite, so we're planning on adding to this temple thing. And that's going to be the memorial for everybody right there. I had one in the realm, but I'm still lazy. I haven't bothered to log in, and I'm really liking this offline world too. So as long as I keep this city pack, I'm just gonna keep limping along. For now, let's trade off. Oh, can I? Okay. Oof, price is getting high. I think that's because they're grumpy. They haven't been able to sleep, or if they don't go, oh, um, back to their job station or their job block or workstation. So, yep. Although I got no ability to control the weather, so I believe it's raining. That's why they're in here now. But yeah, I'm eager to get back to some Bloodborne. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Already 8 episodes deep. Oh, and I did the thing. I appreciate the comment where it was like, you should put episodes, and I need to go back and do that for these. Ugh, but it is tough because, well, not really. YouTube has a nice function where you can order by date created. So that's why, like, then I don't really need the dates on them. But for me, it's easier to see, so when I delete them, I can confirm that the actual, like, labels match up. And if I put too much stuff in front of it, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, etc., it does make it harder to check and make sure I can go ahead and delete that off my PlayStation memory. Because memory's tight, especially with Fortnite. Like that game, I swear, I just had an 8 GB update. It's just like, hey, here's the next season. Download another game. Like, and then it was like 50 gigabytes to begin with or something like that. So over, I don't know. It's ridiculous. And I got a 2 TB chip, but I only have so much memory. And I think the games that you play have to be in the near memory. So, which is like my Minecraft, Fortnite, Bloodborne, Borderlands, which I haven't played Borderlands in quite some time, but I should probably get back to that. I was watching some videos and getting into that. Anyways, what are we even doing? We're doing a distraction and building for the living now an underground tunnel, but that's interesting. So even below this, there is a chasm. Alright, so we need sand, we need glass. That's what we were doing. So we'll take the sand. Not a lot. Actually. I need to find some. Oh, wait. But also, I need to unclog it too. Okay. Sand. Let's just go harvest some sand. Actually, drop off a bunch of this nonsense. I don't care, I just want to get rid of it. So if I was to be some sand. Ooh, let's do the boat. Which I need wood. Oh wait, that was wood. Make a boat. Make a boat. Yeah, whatever. And there we go. So it does make a difference when you're traveling, because then you just hop on and disappear. Although, as I say that, have I cleared all this out? I don't know. Looks like we're good. Barely. It's a tight fit. Oh man. Functional though. We gotta go all the way up to the north there where that island is. I mean, we could get some sand from the sides here, but that's really not all that much. And if you look on the map in the very middle, and a little to the south where the kind of red-green dots are, that's where my gigantic portal is. Like, we're gonna make it like Warcraft 2. Just make it a portal to the other world, the underworld. Although, as I say that, games like Doom kind of make hell seem like a possibility. Like, it doesn't have to be like down in the... Maybe that's just where the portal's like hidden, and then that links to Mars or something. It just looks all red, so they think it's like hidden in the center of the Earth. And then again, like, if you think about how massive the surface area of the Earth is, and then if there's like the Jules, I think that's Jules Vernian or something, like the journey to the center of the Earth. Anyways, the concept of having a whole nother planet inside this planet, like onion layers, or yeah, just layers of different like civilizations. And it really could be, but I feel like the cave dwellers are like anyone down the like, and see, that could be like a racial slur or something. Like, oh, those cave dwellers. But let's go ahead and leave that island bump. We'll go over here. Let's totally destroy this mound. In case we wander off, let's keep the boat. Alright. Ah. And I love these upgraded tools, because if you try to harvest a bunch of sand to do a project like this, and you don't have modded tools, or enchanted tools, and again, doing a lot of Fortnite lately, yeah, so we'll build a channel for the animals. We'll keep 2 different channels. Or even if we do have the same channel, we'll have to do like a divider wall or something, because you don't want the sheep and the cows mixing. Because when you're feeding them, they all come running. And then if you're trying to breed them, I guess you can, but then it's just like, it's even more chaotic and mixed than it already is, just with a bunch of cows milling around. Um, but free range would really be the game plan there. Oh, and that's a thing. What I could do is I could bevel out the edge, do some landscaping, and then have the animals just come up into a barn. There we go. Could do that. Maybe make it out of some fancy wood, or actually, I don't know, massive stone. We've got a lot of black stone. We've got a lot of cobblestone we could cook into regular stone. Make bricks. Can make them like castles and stuff. Oh, there's the alarm. So, happy Easter, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this random musings, and I will go back and change the episodes to these very soon. Um, I just gotta find some time. I mean, I have some time today, and maybe I'll be able to do that. But I do have some projects I'm trying to accomplish around the house, some organizing, some cleaning. I'm finally trying to tackle a bunch of paperwork and envelopes and mail. Like, I do that periodically, and it's like, it's very annoying, but it's something that you gotta do in adulting. And so that's why schools have been getting, like, further and further, younger and younger, doing agendas. Actually, I had agendas in, like, 5th grade and 4th grade, for sure. But then also having, like, parents look at them, so. Anyways, that's good for this one. Ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one. Most likely switching over to Bloodborne for the rest of the day, or I might come back and muse. Uh, so, have a good one. Happy holidays. If you don't celebrate, I hope your day's good anyway. You should always be having good days. Alright, see ya.